I know myself personally, when it comes to gourmand fragrances, I think of the wintertime. I think of the cold weather, heavy, sweet, vanilla, chocolate, praline, caramel, toffee, hazelnut, so on and so forth. Well, there's actually gourmand fragrances that I personally love wearing in the summertime, either because they're not as strong as many other gourmand fragrances are, but also because there are other elements in them that make them more ethereal, more diffusive, perfect for the hotter weather. In any case, I'm excited to get on with this list, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I tell you about these 10 gourmand fragrances that I think would work spectacularly well in the high heat, these are sweet fragrances that would do so well in the summertime. I do want to start the video off first by saying if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it, hit the bell, and give this video a thumbs up. It would really mean a lot to me. Gourmand in the summer, we're talking vanilla, chocolate, praline, coffee, almond, amberwood sometimes. There are some sweet ingredients that are found in so many of these fragrances, so I'm just going to go ahead and go over some of my personal favorites, some of the ones that I have found myself wearing over the past month and a half, especially since the summer really kicked into high gear and it's been quite warm here on the East Coast. The first one I want to talk about, and I saved it for the number 10 spot because it's one that I personally worked on, and it's by Navitus Perform. It's called Intimus. Now, of course, the name translates to intimate. This is such a sexy, sultry, and seductive fragrance. It was composed by Chris Maurice, who's the same perfumer behind so many Xerjoff fragrances. This has vanilla, it has jasmine, it has some clean white florals. It's so sensual, so smooth, so seductive, and this is one that you definitely have to try, especially if you are a fan of those night out romantic types of fragrances. Intimus by Navitus Perform is one that I personally worked very hard on, and I'm very proud of it. Of course, we have one by another perfumer that I've worked with. I didn't work on this particular fragrance, of course. This one by L'Artisan Parfumeur is called Noir Espoir. This fragrance was composed by Bertrand Duchaufour. This has maple sap in it. It has coffee. It has a little bit of chocolate, if I'm remembering correctly. It's a really smooth and sexy fragrance, and of course, this is a fragrance that works really well in the high heat because there are some floral ingredients in here. There are some other lighter, brighter ingredients that are more diffusive, and it's not super duper heavy, right? So there isn't that strong of an emphasis on some of those really dark base notes. It's not very thick or sappy or sticky or anything like that. We also have another one that has iris in it, Valentino Uomo, composed by Olivier Paul. Here's a fragrance that has hazelnut. It has chocolate in it. It has, I think, a little bit of like a caramel vibe to it as well. Came out so many years ago, but it's the iris and some of the floral ingredients that really open this fragrance up and make me feel like, oh yeah, I can wear this one in the summertime. Valentino Uomo is absolutely perfect. It's such an amazing designer fragrance. Of course, we have the Greek brand Theodoros Calotinis, and this fragrance is called Coffee Addict Eau de Parfum. Listen, I drink coffee 365 days of the year. It's a mistake if I go through a day and I don't consume any coffee. I love black coffee. On the other hand, this one has some more gourmand appeal to it. But this fragrance, of course, coffee, I'm always in the mood to smell coffee, to consume coffee. And so this is a fragrance that I wear no matter what time of the year it is. I perfectly love it. We also have the brand Narcotica. So they have a few fragrances. The original, Dolce Diablo, Doza, and now we have Narco Oasis. This fragrance has peach and juicy pear in it, but there's also brown sugar, vanilla beans. It's a very gourmand fragrance, but you do have some floral ingredients, you have some fruity ingredients, so it's not all about the sweetness. And I think that that's what I was trying to do with this list. I'm trying to include fragrances that are sweet, but are not all about the sweetness and actually do convey and communicate certain ingredients that would work well in the hotter weather. This stuff is undeniably good. It's juicy, it's fruity, it's flirty. It's probably the most flirtatious fragrance on this entire list. This is probably the most suave. This is probably Noir Espoir is the most mysterious just because of how dark it is. And of course, the most intimate, the most romantic would be Intimus by Navitus Perform. Now, the next one has orange blossom. Right? So this one is kind of on the floral side of things, but there's also honey and an oak moss dry down. So it's sweet, but it's not sweet all the way. Can't Stop Loving You by Killian Paris. Just an amazing fragrance, perfectly unisex too. in my opinion. So the honey makes a gourmand, and there are some other sweet elements to it. You know, a lot of these fragrances also have ethyl vanillin in it, which is vanilla basically. We have Yum Pistachio Gelato 33 by Keali. This fragrance with the pistachio, with the sweet ingredients that are in here, the whipped cream, beautifully done. But again, it's not too heavy. It doesn't have an overdose of those gourmand properties that you're like, this is only fall and winter. No, I could actually see myself wearing this one in the summertime. It has pistachio gelato, hazelnut, sweet rum, whipped cream, marshmallow, cotton candy. To me personally, that sounds like fall and winter. But for me, the diffusiveness and how well it works in the summertime is really what makes this special. And I gotta be honest with you guys, a lot of these fragrances, when they do get hit by that heat, it allows them to perform so much better. So if there are fragrances on this list that you kind of feel like, oh man, I'm only getting like 6 hours from it, 7 hours from it, you wear it in the summertime, you're gonna get 8 or 9 hours from it. My personal experience, that is. We also have Sospiro Dolce Melodia. Now, this fragrance is really special. This fragrance has a sweet property to it. There is vanilla in there. There are some fruity components in there, but it's funny, you look at the note breakdown and you're like, wait, there isn't a whole lot of gourmand things happening in here. Maybe even blackcurrant, I don't remember too well. But it's so funny because when you actually wear it, it's like, oh my God, it smells sweet. Dolce. Dolce means sweet. So this is a sweet fragrance where you look at the note breakdown and you're like, where's the sweetness? But as soon as you put it on, you're like, oh yeah, this is actually really gourmand. This is special. Definitely one of the most unique fragrances on this entire list. And of course, this is the, I don't know if you want to call it a hype beast or whatever, but Yum Pistachio Gelato. I know it's sold out so many times on Sephora. That also happened to do really well. So here's one that I've been wearing intermittently. And this one online, people have been comparing it to Creed Aventus and Baccarat Rouge. I don't find that to be the case at all. This fragrance is actually really special in its own way. This one is S-Boy for Him by Draco. I did a full review on this one and I was really surprised by the way that it manages to balance the spices, the sweets, the florals, the fruits. It has a combination of all of these beautiful things to kind of produce that enriching effect. In the dry down, it kind of has that amberwood element to it. This stuff is really good, and it's a huge compliment getter as well. Now the women's version, my wife does wear it. I've been encouraging her to wear it from time to time. The men's version gets a lot of play, especially from me, because I kind of feel like no matter what season it's in, of course in the colder weather, it does perform very well. So that's one of the things that this fragrance has going for it. But I also prefer to wear it in the hotter weather because it has that diffusive nature about it. The fruits, some of the other underlying elements in here have worked really well. There's caramel in here. There's a lot of gourmand ingredients. There's coconut as well. Thankfully, without going in too much of that tropical route, because a lot of fragrances, they kind of smell like suntan lotion or being on the beach or something like that. This one is a lot more sophisticated. Wear it on a special occasion, wear it on a date night. You can wear it casually, formally, incredibly versatile. S-Boy for Him by Draco, it really is amazing. And then of course we have another fragrance that came out several years ago. Was it 2019 or something like that? I can't believe it's been 4 years already. This fragrance is another Dolce Melodia example, right? You look at the note breakdown and you're like, wait, okay, there's vanilla in it. That doesn't make it a gourmand. And as a matter of fact, it does have those amber spicy properties to it, but you spray this stuff on skin, you cannot overlook the sweetness. There's saffron, there's ginger, there's amberwood, there's citrus, and this stuff has been getting a lot of play throughout the years. Instant Crush by Mancera. One of the most versatile fragrances. I know it's heavy. Mancera fragrances do perform very well. The citrus, the ginger is very bright, very fizzy. It gives you that sharp summertime appeal, but the saffron, the spiciness, the amberwood. So basically people have been comparing this to like a more floral Baccarat Rouge 540 by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. It's spicy, it has that underlying sweetness to it. Of course, with Baccarat Rouge, you kind of have that ambroxan, oak moss, ethyl maltol thing happening in there. You have to try Instant Crush. If you are a fan of Baccarat Rouge, you want something that's also on the sweet side, a little spicy, a little fresh, a little floral. Instant Crush is amazing for keeping that Baccarat Rouge DNA alive in the summertime and allowing you some versatility with that particular DNA. I know a lot of people, especially with the extrait version of Baccarat Rouge, they say, winter only. And I understand that. Makes a lot of sense to me. Guys, 10 gourmand or pseudo gourmand, just 10 sweet fragrances that you can wear in the summertime. I would love to get your thoughts. What are some sweet fragrances that you enjoy wearing in the summertime? Of course, we do have a few designers on here. If you would like me to curate another list with 100% designers, drop your comments down below. What are your sweet fragrances to wear in the summertime? Drop your comments down below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell and give this video a thumbs up. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.